introduce yourself?
Yes. My name is Angelo Gonzalez. I'm from Portugal. I'm half Portuguese, half Argentinian. And I've worked as a folk high school teacher for 12 years now. I studied computer engineering, and then I studied in 2 film schools, and I kind of got my master's in film narratives, analyzing the meaning of movies and script writing. And then as I started working in the school, I kind of developed many other talents and skills and knowledge. So I teach many different crazy stuff, which includes movie making, world cinema, tabletop gaming, board games and role-playing games, newsroom, a little bit of journalism. I've taught stand-up comedy, board game design, and sports, workout, a lot of different things.
Yeah, and how about prank?
Yes,
Prank
and I've pranked all my life, but since I came here and this is a school, I thought, can we learn something from pranking? And then I took the time to tell others how I feel about pranking, and I'm sure everyone can learn something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll start. What is your favorite color and why?
My favorite color. I think I usually like green. I'm not sure why. I've always had like green jackets, green t-shirts, green shoes. You know, I don't always use them, but I've been told, oh, you really like green. And I don't know if it's like a nature thing because it looks nice. I see it everywhere. It's just a pleasant color to see. Maybe it's a color that to me it makes me feel healthy, you know, because of the trees, and it's like a color of healthiness. Or like vegetables are more healthy than, you know, they're usually green. I actually don't know. It's just the color I like. And if, for example, my favorite ice cream is chocolate mint, and that ice cream usually is green, more green. Everything is green.
I see. So what did you love to do as a child?
I played sports a lot. I think it's very popular to play football. Portugal is a country where football is like the number one sport. We don't have baseball. We don't have a big passion for basketball or other things. I played football for many years. I played handball also. And my dad had one of these video cameras, like a Panasonic family kind of let's all go on vacation and I'll film the kids. So I would borrow his camera and I would film my toys and make stories with the toys. I remember filming like one of my early movies. I don't know how old I was, but I filmed my soldiers, toy soldiers, having like a war. So I would like do a stop motion. I film a little bit and move them all closer. Film a little bit and move them all closer, and spent hours in this. And then the crazy thing is that, so I was making movies also for school. Like we had a school presentation, and I would tell my friends, let's make a movie. Let's, instead of like present a poster, we would just show our movie, talking about whatever the topic was.
Paper movie too? Paper theater?
That I never did. I didn't know about it enough to make. But we would film ourselves, do like mini documentaries, talking about the environment or protect the animals, blah, blah. So movies, sports, video games, just a lot. I think I've played so much video games that now I can't play anymore. I'm done. I'm super bored when I play video games. I like board games, but like video games, I fall asleep.
Okay.
Yes, I've played enough when I was a kid.
I know you were thinking. So what did you want to be when you were younger?
I'm not sure. I of course wanted to be a football player for a while, and by younger, of course, that could mean when I was 10, but it could also mean when I was 15, and those are very different, you know. So I remember I was like 15, 16, and I saw the behind the scenes of a movie. So there's this movie I watched. It's called The Name of the Rose from 1986, which is actually the year I was born. And the movie was interesting. It was like a police investigation thriller, but with monks. So Sean Connery was a monk, and he was like a police investigator in the in the dark ages. But when I saw the behind the scenes and I saw the director, Jean-Jacques Hano, this French guy, talking about how cool it was to direct a movie and how crazy, what an adventure, I was like, whoa, I would love to be a movie director because it sounded like an exciting job. And then I told my friends, being a movie director seems like a complicated thing. It doesn't seem like something I can be in 2 years, be a movie director. So I said, when I'm 40, I'll be a movie director. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy because they thought, you're not even 18 and you're thinking when you're going to be 40. But I thought, I need to have enough time to build a career so I can live from making movies. Seems fair. It's just like enough time. But everyone thought I was crazy. And I don't know. I'm not going to be a movie director when I'm 40. I'm 39. But I kind of live and I make movies as part of my life. It's my job to teach and make movies, and I freelance as a videographer making commercials and stuff. So in a way, it has worked out.
You can do now, right?
Yeah, now I technically I do it. It's just that it's not like the director I had in my mind, like movies, Hollywood and stuff. It's just a different type of director.
When you think of your education, how do you feel?
Ooh, okay. That's a risky topic because we could be here the whole day.
Yeah.
So maybe I should preface by saying my dad was a teacher in university. And he was specialized in science of education and pedagogy, meaning he was teaching how to teach. So his students wanted to be teachers. And that was a big influence in my life because he was always telling me, oh, there are things that doesn't make sense for you to do because why are you doing this? So for example, homework. Do you have homework in Japan?
Of course.
Yes. We also have homework in Portugal. But my dad was against homework because he would say, you spent 8 hours or 10 hours in school and now you come home and you're supposed to be in school again. That doesn't make sense. You should be playing football, climbing mountains, biking. So he was against homework. And he would say, you don't do homework. You go to school and you tell your teachers that you don't do homework. And you tell them because he's a teacher of teachers who is against that. So stuff like that was very influential. And then to the extreme, taking this approach to rebelling against the strategy of formal education. I had a teacher, a math teacher. He was a normal math teacher, but he happened to be at the same time a student of my dad. So he was a student and also a teacher. It is possible. And then me and my friends, we told him, hey, but we know that my dad teaches you kind of more engaging alternative education. Why are you teaching in a classic way, in a boring way? Math is boring, it's difficult, and we don't have good grades. What if you changed your approach, right? So we kind of blackmailed him because my dad was at the same giving him grades. So he actually made an effort. He took the class outside of the classroom. I don't know, go outside, measure things, estimate how big is the building by measuring the shadow and the position of the sun, and those things that you see in a book, but you can actually do it if you put a bit of effort. And it was positive. Some grades went up. People got more interested in math. And then my dad gave him a better grade because he actually applied some of the methods. So, and then at some point, I think we all rebelled a bit against school. We were like, school sucks, and I don't like this. And then what's the point of school? And my dad told me, I think it was close to the end of high school, he told me, like in preparation for university. You're not supposed to learn in school. That's not the goal of school. Oh. Like if you think you're in school to learn, you've been tricked. School is just to prove yourself. You're just here to prove yourself. Because if you really like it, you will learn. Yeah, if you're passionate about something, you will learn on your own. You don't need a teacher to tell you. You will just learn it. And if you hate it, no matter what the teacher tries and exams and so on, you will forget immediately and you will never... You will hate it. So school is to prove yourself. That's why we have exams, grades. It's just so you can finish and say, I survived and I can learn by myself. But I haven't learned. I'm not I'm not comfortable with all of this knowledge. I survived. I did it. I passed. And then you go to university, and then you have to make a choice. Like, what am I going to study? This is real. I have to spend 5 years, or I don't know how many years, in one career that I should like and want. And if I don't, it's going to be really bad. So I studied engineering because it was a real job, right? The arts is not a real job. And I felt that I was a bit pushed by my parents. I should study a real job. But the agreement was that once I studied that, and I could get a job in a tech company, programming and so on, then they told me, then you can do some other course for fun, for pleasure. And I was like, great, I'll go to film school. And then I never imagined myself working in a company 9 to 5 once I did that. And I noticed that when I was in film school, I was there because I really wanted. I was like trying to do as much as I could, practice all the time, talk about movies all the time. While some of my friends were just there because they also didn't know what they wanted, and they thought it was a cool idea to go to a film school. So it is a huge difference to study because you want or study because you have to. Because you need to prove yourself or because you want to learn. Completely different. And our hope in Fokai schools is that people come here to study because they want. Unfortunately, some people come because they are pushed or they are out of ideas of what to do.
Or they've been or something.
They want to have a break from life, or they've been kicked out of many other schools and they come here. But many students actually come and they decide, I want to study this. And finally, I have a choice.
Yes.
And we don't have grades and exams, so we don't care about proving yourself. We care about develop yourself. So I like this format much more.
So nice. How do you think people should feel in a classroom?
Okay, that could mean many things. I think the main feeling that I care as a teacher is motivation. So if there's no motivation to be there, if people are just falling asleep or not interested or they think it's boring, then I think they shouldn't be there.
So nice.
And that's a problem because, of course, you signed up for something and then halfway you realize, oh, I don't like this. And then it's hard to stop and change. But it should be possible to stop and change. There was this... I was part of a training course once, and it was like some specific topic, but there was this sign on the wall, and it said, whoever is here, it's the ones who matter, and the time that you arrive is the time that matters. It was something like this. I can't remember exactly what was the title. But it was about, let's not be upset about those who are not here. And let's not be super upset if people don't show up on the exact time, because they are maybe giving their best or they are valuing what they value. So if we have like 3 programs in the morning, they will show up for the one that really matters. And with that approach, I think no one was upset. There was not upsetness. It was like frustration. It was just, it is what it is. We are happy with those who are here and engaged, but if you're here, you're here. You cannot say, I'm here, but I don't want to be here. So if you put your headphones, you're basically saying, I don't want to be here, right? Or maybe you have a problem and you cannot cope and you have to abstract yourself. But mostly it's like, I don't want to be here. And I feel like if a student is in a classroom but doesn't want to be there, then they are in denial. They have to deal with that denial. Otherwise the teacher is frustrated, and actually the friends are also frustrated because it affects the classroom. So sometimes I'm going to teach something and I think, what is the motivation today? How do people feel? And I change my classes. So I actually, for world cinema, where I will bring up a theme, a movie, a director, or a topic, I ask at lunchtime, many times before the class, I will ask, what's the vibe today? How do people feel today? Because I will change the class that I'm going to teach later if everyone is like, oh wow, we're all exhausted. We just talked about war the whole morning, and everyone is like emotionally crushed. Okay, then I'll bring a movie that is like uplifting, light. But if everyone is like, we're full of energy, we're good, okay, then I'm going to bring a movie that is a bit heavier so we can talk about something that is maybe a little difficult because your energy is high. Because if your motivation is low, then it's not going to work. I'm not going to bring one of those movies that it will crush you even more. So very often I get asked, what's the class tonight? And I literally tell them, I don't know. I'm still deciding. I might decide at the last minute because I have many classes ready to go, but the demand, the motivation is different. So I have to decide when is the right time to run this, when is the right time to run that.
You are a great teacher.
Yeah, but it's difficult to decide.
What is the point of education?
Yes, depends on which education.
Yeah.
Because if it's formal education, I think the point is to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna get a job, maybe you gotta enter the job market, and the employer will ask the question, should I trust you? And you should answer that question with, look, I've proven myself, here's the proof. Okay, I trust you. But it could also be, the answer could be different, which is, why am I working in this? Why am I not searching for another type of job? And that's a different kind of education, which is, what do I want? Who am I? And how am I going to spend years of my life? And that, for me, is non-formal education. So formal education is a lot about, here, I've proven myself. The point is, I can do it. I can learn. And non-formal is like, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to spend years of my life doing this? Do I really care? And of course, if you could mix those two, you start to get something like the Finnish education system, or even the Danish in a way, because Denmark has folk high schools.
Yes.
But right now it's still very separate.
Oh, really?
So either you go to university or you go to take a course like a folk high school that doesn't give you a degree but asks you important questions. If you go to university and you sign up to medicine, you want to be a doctor. Nobody will ask you, do you really want to be a doctor? Are you happy? Do you want to study for the next 20 years of your life, specialization after school? Nobody will ask you. They just assume you. But that's not true. That's a false assumption. A lot of people are there because their parents are doctors, because being a doctor has a reputation, because they need to make a lot of money, because they have to sustain. I don't know. There's reasons that are not just because you want, but it's because you've been pushed. It's difficult, right? So the meaning of education is, it depends a lot on if it's formal, non-formal, and where you come from.
Yeah, so true. What makes your heart sing? What makes your heart happy?
Okay. I found through movies actually that we all have willpower. So this force, this energy that makes us want to be alive, be energetic, be engaged, active, happy. And I was trying to put it in a more objective way instead of speaking about willpower and happiness and what makes my heart sing. I was trying to make it objective instead of just like, abstract. And I've realized that I have a lot of hobbies. But a lot of people consider hobbies that thing you do after your work.
Yeah.
And I consider hobbies that thing that makes me me. So when someone asks, what's the meaning of life? I would reply, that's the incorrect question. The correct question is, what's the meaning of your life? And the meaning of my life, what makes me happy, is I found out that I like to do certain activities, certain meetings with people. And if I don't do those things, I start to lose my energy, start to be depressed, start to go down, start to lose interest. So if I'm prevented from doing it, and if I'm allowed to do it, if I do it frequently, like a few times a week, then my energy is up and I can do a lot of things that I don't want to do, but I'll gladly do it because I'm still full of willpower, motivation, energy, happiness. So I literally made a list of all the things that make me happy. And I have to keep an eye on those things, because if I don't do those things, I'll lose energy and I'll just kind of become weak. Yes. So I can tell you some of those things, and I think you know most of those things, right? So playing board games, designing board games, making movies, watching and analyzing movies, playing music, creating music. I'm not a composer, but I like to kind of play with loop pedals and create crazy sounds, jam with people. So a lot of creative stuff. But I also like writing. One of my favorite activities during the summer is to take a week where every day we make short movies with some friends. So I write and then we film it. and then we post it, and then write and film and post, and like for 6 days straight. And then I also like to play disc golf. Now I don't play tournaments as much as I used to, but I love that kind of community of, we go to the forest, we throw some discs into baskets. It's silly, but at the same time, it's healthy. You walk, you get fresh air, you meet people. I ask them, what do you do? I work in an office in Copenhagen. Oh, I work in Sweden. I'm a CEO. Oh, wow. Once I met a opera singer. I was playing with a guy. I'm an opera singer. I was like, wow, can I Google you? It's like, oh shit, you are an opera singer. That's interesting. Yeah. So you meet all sorts of strange people by playing a sport. And then I enjoy being with my family. I enjoy family time, and I feel like it is harder now than it will be later when I want more, emotional support. Because now I feel like they need more my emotional support than I need their emotional support. I'm still kind of a bit of a loner in my head, and I need to do all these things. And if I want to involve them in doing my hobbies, it's difficult because I'm always the teacher, and I want to be on the same level. But of course, they're kids. They're small. My wife is studying, and she's very busy, and she has like a lot going on. So it's hard for me to sit down and play a board game with them. It's a huge exercise. Or make a movie with them. Make a movie with my kids. It's like, it's worse than, let me just think of a fair comparison. Worse than doing a tattoo. I don't know. Tattoos are painful, but you're happy with the result at the end, I guess. So it's a bit like that. It's very difficult to make a movie, but at the end everyone is happy. Yes, we did it. We made this cool movie. But the process of making it drains me, So it's so I enjoy family life, but I don't understand when people say, "Oh, my family is everything." I don't have that feeling. So I know people who, when I ask them, "What kind of hobbies do you have?" They have no hobbies. Their hobby is basically their family, taking care of their children, taking them to school, being with them, drawing with them. To me, that's not what makes me. To me, drawing is the hobby. Like, I like to draw, and I practice drawing, and I have my comics, and then I draw with my kids. But drawing is the hobby. And then to do it with them is exciting and fun, but also exhausting. I would rather draw by myself. Because with them, that means they're going to draw on the table or draw on themselves, and it drives me nuts. So I'm still, just to kind of give a little more context, I was raised as an only child. And deep down, I'm still an only child. I'm not used to sharing and to thinking about others. And this is something that if I grew up with siblings, brothers and sisters, it would be different. I know it because I see people who have siblings. But I grew up as an only child, and I have this deep need to be by myself and do something by myself. And I haven't been able to do that for the last 8 years because I have children and a family and cats and people all the time. So I'm always in this struggle of, I need a bit of space for myself, but I also need to give my time to others. So I'm in this limbo. I don't know how to explain. Yeah.
So good. Last question. How has IPC changed, affected you?
Yes. I think mostly positive. I think it has given me a space to be myself. A lot of freedom to try and challenge myself, to be to study new things, to teach new things. I usually tell everybody I'm not teaching, I'm just doing this thing together with you, and I happen to be the one who was paid to prepare the workshop or the class or whatever. So IPC or the school allows me a lot of freedom, so I'm always trying new things. I don't see myself like, okay, I have my classes prepared, this is what I'm going to do for the next 20 years. No, I have my classes prepared, so I'm comfortable, but now I'm going to create a new class where I'm not comfortable, and I'm going to do something crazy. And this is great. So I always feel like I'm evolving. I'm not stable or stagnant. And the thing is that I don't separate my personal life from my work life, and this is confusing for many people. But I live at the school, and my kids live at the school, and we eat at the school every day. So I mix everything. Yeah. So when I'm overworking, sometimes for me is I need it because I'm really tired of family life. It's too busy. So I need to make movies with the students to shake off that stress. So it's a bit confusing, but the job is the lifestyle.
Wow.
So it has affected me in a way that I don't see myself. What can I do that is not this? So I sometimes joke, what if I won the lottery? Okay, I have enough money, I don't need to work anymore. Maybe I would still work in a folk high school just because the environment is great and it's a what they call social laboratory of experiments. Why would I want to give that up even if I have all the money to not work or just travel and live vacation the rest of my life? But on the other hand, I could also see how some of my hobbies, I could continue doing it outside of the school. I could just make movies and make music and make board games. I don't need the school for that. But the school does give me a lot back because the students give me things that I could not find myself. I have to go to a classroom, throw it on the table and see, what do you think? What do you think? And then I get something out of it. So I think it would be very difficult to find another job that matches the experience I have, which I think is positive. But there are nothing is perfect. So there are also some things that kind of tire me and exhaust me, as you can imagine, right? And I would say we love this job because of the students, but we also hate this job because of the students. And there are some students that make you suffer more. And I would say it's mainly because they don't want to be here. Or at least they want to be here not for the reasons we want them to be. And that makes me tired. So at the end of the term, I have to let go of that. And I have to remember those that want to be here and that wanted to share the same experience. Because otherwise, it's very hard to do this job if you're always thinking about the negative. And I think the tradition is that folk high school teachers, they don't last many years. They stay in this job for like 3-4 years, and then they move on to other jobs. And I think part of it is because it's emotionally very tiring. Change students constantly, deal with their emotions, help them. They don't want to be helped, but you still have to help them, force them to be here and love this place. It's just a lot. And you have to find a way to do that or change job. Yeah. So it's I guess it's mostly positive, but of course it's realistic. There's always also negatives. Yeah.
So
Yes.
thank you so much today, Angelo.